John R. Bibeault, electrician mate chief. I joined the Navy December 7th, 1951 at Bainbridge, Maryland. Well, I went in to boot camp. I had a splint on this finger, okay? I'd been roller skating and I took a dump and I broke the finger and it was in a splint. So I went through, took me into boot camp. The doctor examined me before we went in and I told him what it was. He said, well, we'll probably have to wait. I said, if you make me wait, I'm not gonna join, okay? Because I'm 17 and I'm going on a kiddie cruise. If I wait, I gotta go for 4 full years. Well, he said, it's not up to me to decide that. So we proved it, and I went in. I was in boot camp for a week, and I went to see if I could get the splint changed. Oh my God, you can't be in boot camp with that. They put me in the hospital with a broken finger. And they took x-rays, and I waited a few days, and a few days later, they said, we gotta take x-rays. I said, they just did, and we lost them. So finally, they found them, or they took them over again, and they said, oh, there's nothing wrong with your finger, we'll take the splint off. So they never got to change it, they just took it off. And then I eventually got back into a division, but lost the first one, and I was almost ready to go over the hill. That's how I was, but I did meet a friend of mine who was a very close friend of mine. He was in there, he came in 4 days after me, so we weren't in the same group, but and the funny part is we almost went in the Marines because I got my orders and he didn't, and we kept waiting for him, and the Marine recruiter would be there. We talked to him every day to see the Navy and the Marine, and the guy said, listen, if you guys don't want to go, tell me, I have you going tomorrow. You can both go together on this, even if he doesn't have, don't worry, we'll fix that. So he said, if he doesn't have his orders by this date, we're going. He got his orders in. I left Bainbridge, Maryland, March 16th, 52, and I went to Norfolk and then to electrician mate school at Tacoma Park, Maryland. It was Montgomery Junior College. At that time they were sending sailors, unfortunately for us, but to a co-ed junior college. Evidently the Navy needed more electricians and they could get through the regular procedure. August 6, 1952, I reported aboard the USS Missouri. At the school we were at Montgomery Junior College, there were about 28 of us in our class, and of that 28, 6 of us went to the Missouri at that time. Unfortunately, I've lost contact with many of them, in fact all of them. Most of them have passed on. I was 17 when I came in, so I was much younger than some of them. Well, when you see it, you're just amazed at the size of the ship. The day I went aboard, August 6th, there was a huge draft going aboard because they're going to Korea, they're getting ready to go. That's why we grabbed the ship. We signed up because the order said extended duty in the Far East. We said, oh, that's Korea, we're going. When I got in line, I had my 2 little things, red stripes, which meant you're a fireman apprentice. And then I had this, looks like a baseball, well, it was a striker badge for electrician. And I was waiting in line, and this black guy came up to me. He was a first-class electrician. What's your name? I said, Bibeault. Come on with me. You're an electrician? Yep. Take you aboard. Don't have to wait in this line. So we'll go right aboard ship with this guy. His buddy, the first class that was checking anyone in, come bring me right up to him, sign me in right away, bring me down to the compartment, set me up. I had a locker set up, a bunk, before most of these guys ever got on the ship. That, to me, did the most for race relations that anything could have done. You know, I came from a place where there were very few blacks, if any. And so I didn't associate with them, but I mean, I had nothing against them. And when I saw this guy, he was such a great guy as far as I was concerned. That was, he couldn't have done any more for race relations than what he did for me. I always remembered him, I still do. I worked in the ICFC shop, which stands for Interior Communications and Fire Control. We worked strictly with gunnery. The turrets, three 16-inch turrets, the 5mm, everything was that. We worked for everything, including firing circuits. Much of what we were doing then has now gone to fire controlmen, and at that time we were doing it. I had an experience I was on the O2 level, and that's the shop we worked, the ICFC shop, and I was on the fire party. They called away a fire on the O1 level. Well, the ladder's going down, it's like a ladder, but there are two handrails on both sides. Well, we never use the steps. We just grab the handrails and jump, and you're down on the bottom. Well, that's exactly what I did, down to the bottom on the O level. And who was standing there but Vice Admiral, I think it was Clark, I'm not sure of his name. And bada boom, right into, I grabbed his hands, pulled him up and ran. He caught up with me. By that time, there was a controller headset caught fire, and I had it open and with a fire extinguisher, and he came up and said, you know I shouldn't have been in the way. He said, no problem. Very nice about it, but because fire party call away, get the hell out of the way. On the Missouri, we're going through the Panama Canal, and some of the guys in the engine room, they wanted to at least get a peek, okay? So they came up out of the engine room and just looking out, and they come up and they didn't have a hat on. Master Arms wrote them up, we had about 5 of them. Got written up that day for being out of uniform on okay? Because we had to look good because the monkeys and all on the side might see us. So they wrote them up. So he told the division officers, he said, take it care. We got a ground on their coffee circuit. They had their own big coffee pot. There's a grounded circuit. Tag it out. Okay. Called the power shop and said, ventilation circuit has a ground on their vent motor. Tag it out. And now we're in Panama, so in the summer. So we did. Tagged them all up. Next thing you know, XO comes down. What's the story? Commander, we're working on this. But remember, we're going into a war zone. We can't worry about this. Well, I want you to turn it on. Commander, you want it done? That's fine. Put it in writing for us, because if somebody gets killed because of getting an electric shock on this, we're not going to be responsible. Well, he knew would BSing him, but by the same token, he didn't want to take a chance either, okay? Because he's almost due for captain, and he certainly didn't want to take a chance. So, Master at Arms, the Chief Master at Arms says, what's up? What are we going to do? You know, it's too bad, but you know, if these guys weren't on report, we'd have more people to get our work done. Here. Okay. Everything, grounded circuits cleared up right away. We had all kinds of things. As an electrician, you could get all kinds of favors from them, because if you didn't, if you worked in the laundry, you refused to do some extra work for them, all of a sudden the lights went out. And there were always things like that, so it was a good rate to be in.